Hello everybody, Ilan Rubin here. Right now we're going to go into a deep dive for the session of my song, Get Out While You Can. I don't think I've listened to this song since I put it out. I certainly have not looked at the session for a while, but a little more about that. This is a committed session, so if you've not seen any of my other deep dive videos, these are committed sessions that I get from Aaron, who mixed this stuff, who's my brother. And I'm missing some plugins. A lot of the stuff is baked in. There's some routing that's kind of not quite linking up, but that's okay. The point of this is more to kind of give an insight into the recording process. The parts, how things change, how they evolve, how they build, what's different between section to section, so on and so forth. But hopefully by the end of this, you'll actually want to go listen to the full mastered final of this, Get Out While You Can. But okay, why don't we go ahead and just start from the top here, and then I'll stop and we'll dive in. All right, before the vocal even comes in here, let's go ahead and listen to the drums. Nice fun drum sound. And keep in mind this all perk track. I've got shakers, tambourines, wood blocks, thing that come in later. But the shaker and the hi-hat almost act as one here. Let's take a listen. So when I mute that there, you can tell how much the shaker is actually bringing to the percussive table there, if you will. And we have the bass. That gives me like a mid-late 70s McCartney vibe. I could already see the mullet kind of lightly bouncing back there. Good stuff. And then the guitar riff, which I do recall something interesting here. Let's listen to it first, though. The interesting thing is that, no, it is not the very slow phaser that's on it. It's that within the track, the entire guitar is doubled with this Mellotron brass. Now, there are two Mellotron samples, different tape banks from the Mellotron. I personally like to use the M-Tron Pro stuff by G4 Software. The Arturia stuff is also good, but the G4 stuff has all of the tape banks that have ever been made, I'd imagine. So I found two that I like. Now, the guitar and the brass come together to make this sound. So when you hear them together, it just sounds like a guitar, but this is really where the bulk of the character is coming from, in my opinion. Mellotron and guitar. So there's that, and then I think the rest of the track here, as far as the rhythms are concerned, there's some piano. Getting my Jeff Lynne on there in the rhythm section. Okay, so let's go ahead and start from just before verse 1. Okay, so there you have it. That is the first verse. All of the musical information has been established in the intro, and the only thing with verse 1 that is new is the lead vocal. Just want to hear this bass riff really quickly. A little fun. Okay, so then we get into the first chorus, more of a chanty, anthemic vocal, and some BVs if I'm not mistaken, but let's listen to it. Okay, so first things first, that hey, hey, hey lead vocal is backed up by this choir, and I'm not sure how many there are. Well, they're nicely numbered. There are 8 of them doing the following. Hey, hey, hey. So there's that. I think there's a guitar that comes in that, again, is followed by the Tron brass. Let's hear. So that stays, and this comes in. All right, so let's go ahead and take it from the bar leading into verse 2. Okay, so for verse 2, just to give it a feeling of moving forward and differentiating itself a bit from verse 1, we have what seems to be this lead guitar. Everything's kind of chugging along in A. So this lead guitar is just an open A string with a super slow phaser, which I believe is just slowly panning. Let's see. It's kind of annoying to listen to all by itself. But that is the difference between verse 2 and 1. Let's see if there's a difference with the second chorus. All right, so everything is the same there. One thing that I probably forgot to mention earlier, starting in chorus 1 here, we have different pianos doing different parts. So, one second. Okay, so it's almost like a rhythm piano and a lead piano, although I'd never really describe it as that way, but just so you get the point, there's the piano that's carrying along from the verse, which is kind of in the lower register, trucking along with the bass and the guitar. It's kind of more of a woolly sound. And then to add this driving element to the backbeat in the chorus, this other piano comes in, just high right hand, hammering out those chords. So out of chorus 2, we then move into the bridge for the first time. Okay, so first things first, we have the introduction to these strings. Let's take a quick listen to them. All right, so it's somewhere like, let's say Jeff Lynne's string arrangement and Motown Had a Baby. That's what I went for there. When you listen to it solo, I've never had the pleasure of recording actual string players or really any orchestral instruments of any kind. So there's always a sort of risk that you take with using them. They do sound great often enough, depending on the articulation, and by that I mean, these are very staccato, so they're very, very short, and you can get away with it very well within a mix. Now these blended with other orchestral instruments, it would be a little harder to detect that they are, in fact, samples. And I know there are many people out there with a keen ear who have experimented with these, and you can pick it out. Yes, I could pick it out, but as I said, there's a slight gamble there. And within the mix, they more than serve their purpose. But really, with this kind of stuff, and if anyone's interested in orchestration, I feel like the battle always becomes how to get things to sound as realistic as possible. So one day, when I get to record some proper orchestral musicians or some string players, we'll see how the battle of what wins in the mix goes. Because I know a lot of people actually use both. They'll layer the two, which I can see being very beneficial in terms of tuning or intonation, those fretless instruments. But anyway, we also have some other stuff here. Actually, I can see that I made a choice. I recorded this choir all the way through here, which is quite a bit of tracks, but I can see that I made the decision to mute them here. So we're going to have to wait until we revisit the bridge to enjoy the big reveal. Let's see what the lead guitars are doing here. Okay, so it's just a nice little arpeggiation of the chords. Let's see how they correspond to the rhythm guitars. But now let's see what the bass is doing. Alright, looks like some Abbey Road era George Harrison joined us there. Lots of fun. And then I have a Tron choirs here. Now I have to say, I'm very guilty of trying to use Mellotron choirs as often as I can. I just absolutely love the sound, and they bring this airy, high-end texture to the picture that I try to use it all the time. Let's see what these are doing. All right, ending on that nice seventh. And part of the thing I love about Mellotron instruments or their tape banks is that they're not in tune. Not that I would recommend purposely being out of tune, but they bring this otherworldly quality to recordings, and I just can't get enough of them. So, let's listen to this lead one more time. All right, love some fuzz guitar, verse 3. All right, so verse 3 has some vocal variation going on, and it gets a little more syncopated. First, this harmony comes in. Let's see here. It never tires while it wears you down. Variation here. I don't want to hear you say, what was I thinking? Now it's too late. All right, so that's the thing that makes verse 3 different to the previous two verses, and that nicely brings us into the next chorus, which is mislabeled here, but I don't color code my markers, so that was not me. It's too late. Hey, you gotta understand. You want your freedom, go get around, you can. All right, we seem to have another lead guitar here, spicing up the third chorus. All right, so that fuzz could have been a Fender blender or something in that territory. I know that those fuzz pedals are, I believe they're clipped with a rectifier. Now, I'm not going to get into super nerdy electronics talk here because I'm not an authority, but they give you that upper harmonic. So when you hear a lot of like octave fuzzes that give you that octave up, you know, the Hendrixy, Josh Homme thing or whatever, they sound really, really dirty, as if they can't track all the notes. Some fuzz pedals or distortions, you can actually ring a chord, and yes, it'll sound dirty, but with these other Fender Blender, Octavia-style fuzzes, they cannot register more than one note. And two notes, you'll start getting these very dissonant overtones. So I could tell that that's what that was. And then we will get to the big reveal here. Try not to jump out of your seat. But all of these choirs that I tracked over here finally see the light of day in this final bridge. Let's see. All right, so let's hear the final bridge and outro in whole. Remember, this was a real pain in the ass to do. Oh, 1 second. There you have it. That is Get Out While You Can. I hope you enjoyed this. I haven't done these in a while, so I know there may be 1 or 2 tracks that I've put out where I've not done one of these deep dives, so my OCD is kicking in, and I will be doing a couple more. So I hope you enjoyed that. Go listen to Get Out While You Can. I hope you enjoy it. Any questions, comments, leave them below. I will try to get back to them. Have a good one.